Despite the fact that Africa has been described as a resource-rich continent, the translation to a regional economic powerhouse remains far-fetched. Post-2008 global financial crisis, Islamic finance has proven to be an alternative and reliable source of funding for economies. In Africa, there are enormous opportunities for growth and development, which Islamic finance has the potential to address socio-economic challenges in the region, such as boosting financial inclusion, support activities that spur economic growth, and deepen infrastructure funding. Good morning and welcome to another edition of Islamic Finance Weekly, where we discuss key developments in the non-interest finance market. This episode will discuss Islamic banking as a catalyst to Africa's regional economic growth. The focus is to explore the challenges and opportunities in Islamic banking and finance in Africa. Joining me now to discuss this subject is Mr. Zubair Mughal, CEO AlHuda Center of Islamic Banking and Economics. Good morning, Mr. Zubair. Thank you for coming on the program.
Good morning and pleasure to have with you.
Islamic Bank, despite its name, is not a religious product or service restricted to Muslims alone, and this has been adopted by many countries. So let us begin with what Islamic banking is all about, its dynamics and the unique selling points.
Thank you very much to give me opportunity for your weekly show to discuss about Islamic banking. Islamic banking and finance is growing all over the world. As you know, the total size of Islamic finance is about $2.9 trillion. And we have evidence that in more than 100 countries, the Islamic banking and financial institutions are existing there, not only in Africa, but in Europe, Australia, and USA as well. So if we map out Islamic finance industry, we can segregate Islamic finance industry into 7-8 components.
Okay.
One of the major component of Islamic finance industry is Islamic banking.
Yes.
About 81% asset belong to the Islamic finance industry belong to Islamic banking. The second component is Islamic capital market and the sukuk. And third component is the kaful, which is about 2% of the total Islamic finance industry. Then Islamic microfinance, Islamic indices, and some specialized companies like ijara companies and mudarbas companies. And Islamic fintech is also emerging in a very rapid phase. So within $2.9 trillion Islamic finance industry, we have different components, and I am very much happy to share that by having all those components in different countries, they are enjoying different Islamic financial products, not only for the domestic markets, but as well as to raise the funds from the international market through Sukuk, as Nigeria have a very good experience of it as well. And by having the Islamic fintech, now the poverty alleviation agenda through Islamic finance is accomplishing in a very better way.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Zubair. From what you said, the component of Islamic finance, Islamic banking is the largest sector in the Islamic finance sectors. But a lot of people in Nigeria still don't feel the impact of non-interest banks like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is really the challenge?
Yes, by the way, let me clear one thing. You mentioned one very beautiful word, non-interest banking. By the way, for Islamic banking and finance, there are the different names of Islamic finance or Islamic banking in different regions. For example, in Nigeria, you have a very good name, non-interest banking, so that the Muslims and non-Muslim are equally utilize that product. And if you see in Ethiopia, the name of Islamic banking is interest-free banking. I used to be working in Cameroonian market. In Cameroon, Islamic banking is pronounced as a specialized banking. In European side, sometimes that is called ethical banking or green banking. And whatever is the name of Islamic banking, even in Turkey and Morocco, the Islamic banking name is participatory banking. So there are different names of Islamic banking in different part of the world, but the underlying principle of all those products are the same, which is on the base of Sharia. So in Nigeria, yes, Nigeria have a very good start for Islamic banking. I remember about 9 to 10 years back when the Mr. Sonaisi at that time, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, when they announced to have Islamic banking regulations. After that, a couple of banks shows their interest to have a window operations. And right now you have a two full-fledged Islamic bank in your countries by having the Kaful companies, Islamic microfinance institutions, and as well as Sukuk. So Nigeria is emerging, and in Nigeria, if you see, the basic motivator for Islamic banking and finance is the demand. The demand is very good, especially in northern part of Nigeria, and even Islamic banking products are being equally popular in the non-Muslim communities as well. One of the major factor of that demand is the impact. There are different studies in different part of the world related to the Islamic finance and the conventional finance. So the impact of Islamic financial product in the economic life of their clients are much better than to the conventional financial product. Therefore, Islamic banking is emerging all over the world. And one of the component of Islamic finance or Islamic banking is financial inclusion. And by having Islamic financial product, the people who are not utilizing financial or banking product due to the religious or social reasons, and by having Islamic banking, they are including into the financial inclusion. Therefore, if you see the World Bank, United Nations, African Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, and many other multilateral organizations, they have a component of Islamic finance.
Mentioning financial inclusion, we still have wide financial exclusion in Nigeria. Despite we have 3 non-interest banks, we have Jaiz Bank, we have Taj Bank, and Lotus Bank, the financial exclusion is still, the gap is still there. From the latest analysis, how would you describe?
Yes, you are absolutely right. Even in many other countries, there are some issues of financial exclusion, but that is not only due to the unavailability of Islamic financial products. Sometimes the accessibility of Islamic financial products are not with them. It might be one issue for them as well. I give you the example of Pakistan. Pakistan is almost have an equal population to Nigeria, about more than 200 million. In 200 million population, our financial inclusion or the people who have the financial or banking account is only 21%. But 97% of the population of Pakistan, they have mobile account. 97% adult population of Pakistan. So if we utilize Islamic banking product with the technology, then the financial inclusion can be increased in any part of the world, including Nigeria.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Zubair, for your perspective. I think for the Islamic banking in Nigeria to thrive, proactive government support is needed. Thank you very much. So from the latest analysis, how will you describe the growth of the global Islamic banking and finance market?
Okay, globally, Islamic banking and finance industry is emerging in a rapid pace, and you can see a very good indicator in different continents, including Asia, Africa, and even some part of Europe as well. Right now, if we see the Middle Eastern markets or Far East Asian market like Malaysia and Indonesia, or in the Middle Eastern market, they are almost reached their highest levels. But the new emerging markets are Africa and Central Asia. If you see in Africa, if we categorize Africa into different regions, In West Africa, Nigeria have a very good experience. Senegal, even Gambia, and Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, and some other countries, they are emerging for Islamic finance. In North Africa, already Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia have a very good indicators for Islamic banking and finance. If we see in the East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and Ethiopia is merging for Islamic finance. And South Africa already have a very good indicator. So, including Africa, the Central Asian market also emerging, like Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and even in the CIS region, Russia and Azerbaijan also have very good experiences for Islamic banking and finance. In European market, Turkey is advancing right now. There are 6 full-fledged Islamic bank in Turkey that the Kafur companies are working over there, and they have a very good prospect for Sukuk and Islamic capital market. And in Europe, Germany, Italy, France already have couple of good experience, and UK as well. Right now in UK, you can find Islamic banks, the Kafur companies, the government of UK already issued the Sukuk as well. As for concern about the American market, in South America, yes, there are a little bit limitation. We do not see good Islamic financial institution in South America other than in Suriname. But in North America, only in US, there are 53 Islamic financial institutions who are working over there. And in Canada, you can find a couple of good Islamic mortgage houses and other Islamic capital product over there. So globally, yes, there are very good indicator. And as I mentioned, that right now we have experience of Islamic banking in more than 100 countries. And this is my prediction that in next 5 years you will find the Islamic banking institution in more than 150 countries, because by having the fintech, insurtech, and other technological platform, Islamic banking now no limited with any geographical boundaries. So if you have a mobile, if you have a gadget, then you can utilize any Islamic banking product for region. Yes.
That was very insightful. And I would say Africa has been described as the last economic frontier in the globe. And in what areas can Islamic banking and finance support the region's economic growth and development?
At the governmental level or intra-governmental level, Sukuk would be a very good instrument. And I am very much happy to share with you whatever Sukuk have been issued in African market, those Sukuk are oversubscribed. Even Nigeria is one of the example over there. Burkina Faso is a very good example. Even some of the country who have, I do not want to mention the name of the country, who have rating -B by Standard and Poor. But when those countries issued the Sukuk, those Sukuk were oversubscribed as well. So in Africa, Sukuk would be a very good instrument for the governments and for the corporates to raise the bulk funding, not only from the Africa, but all over the world, to utilize that funding for different infrastructure or business project. And after Sukuk, in Africa, one of the major issue is the poverty. Islamic microfinance can play a pivotal role for the poverty alleviation. We can utilize Islamic microfinance in African countries and get a very good result. But in Africa, I have worked more than 30 African countries in East, West, North, Central Africa, and etc. What I observed, there is a little misconception. The misconception is that Islamic finance is only for Muslims. No, Islamic finance is a system which can be utilized by Muslims and non-Muslims. They have an extra benefit that it is according to their or our religious belief. But for non-Muslim brother and sisters, this is a very good banking and financial product. For example, I have a Samsung mobile, and in a Samsung mobile, I'm utilizing Android system. And that system is made by a non-Muslim. And being a Muslim, when I utilize a non-Muslim system either that affect to my religion? No, I'm the utilizer of the system. Similarly, if any our non-Muslim brother or sister may utilize our Islamic banking system, it will not affect to their religion. They are only utilizer of the system. So there is a need of the awareness and remove the time to remove the misconception, so that we can introduce our Islamic banking and product behind any religious barriers.
Definitely, Mr. Zubair. Sukuk is a niche market for Africa to leapfrog and deepen the capital market. And an example is Nigeria, which issued three Sukuk bonds, the 2017, 2018, and 2020. All were oversubscribed. Both conventional investors and Muslims, individuals, retail investors, companies, corporate entities. So Sukuk is a niche market for Africa to leapfrog and deepen the capital market. Thank you very much for those insights. So it is time for a short break, and when we return, we will continue this conversation.
Islamic finance has been misunderstood by many to be a religious product aimed at only Muslims. But that is not the case. Since the 2008 global financial crisis, Islamic finance has become an attractive segment of the financial market, promoting sustainable development and economic empowerment. Join me every Friday on the Islamic Finance Weekly at 11 a.m. West African Time as we discuss Connect the Globe on Islamic finance and its benefits. It features experts, scholars, analysts, policymakers, and regulators who provide insight on the capital market, banking, personal finance, Islamic insurance, financial literacy, waqf, halal, and all other aspects of finance and the economy. You don't want to miss it.
The conversation is still around Islamic banking and finance in Africa with Mr. Zubair Mughal. So, Mr. Zubair, looking at the development in the African market, can you highlight the challenges and opportunities for the growth of Islamic banking and finance?
Okay. The major challenge for the African market for Islamic finance is limited human resource or quality human resource in this industry. There are very few universities in Africa who are providing a master or postmaster's program for Islamic banking called the Kafur or any component of Islamic finance. So this is the right time for Africa to build an educational institution in Africa. I met a lot of very good professionals from Africa in Malaysian and UK industry. They went there for the studying Islamic banking and finance. I said, why not you have to study in your own country? They said, we do not have a universities or higher educational program. In Nigeria, I know a couple of universities in Lagos, in Abuja, even in Kanu, they have Islamic banking program. But unfortunately, I didn't see any university in Senegal, Mauritania, Mali. And yes, there are limited universities in North African countries like Tunisia and Morocco. But one of the challenges to produce quality human resource. The second challenge, the misconception, as I already described. The third, introduce that product for all, not only for the Muslim. I do not want to mention the name of the country. When I visit over there, I saw one banking brochure, a brochure of an Islamic bank, and they put the picture of mosque, picture of Kaaba in the banking brochure. What is the message for non-Muslim? That is the product only for Muslim. So we have to see our marketing campaigns as well, how to introduce Islamic banking product. We should introduce Islamic banking product in a such way that it should be our solution for all. And as I mentioned, yes, for Muslim, they have an extra benefit that is according to their religious belief. And another challenge is African market is the copy-paste approach. Sometime in African countries, when they want to start Islamic bank or Islamic microfinance, the Kaful, put the product from Malaysia or Middle East and etc. and start the Islamic banking in their own country. No, this approach cannot give a good result. For example, if we took a product from Malaysia, that product had been made according to the geographical situation of Malaysia, according to the GDP of Malaysia, according to the banking regulation of Malaysia, etc. How can you do that product?
Okay, are you saying Africa should develop? Are you saying Africa should develop their own Islamic finance product instead of using another foreign country's product on Islamic finance?
Yes, a one banking product only takes 6 to 8 weeks to be designed according to the local market. You have to conduct some survey, focus group discussion, and some other intervention and design their product according to the demand of the market. Three Islamic financial institutions in Africa who unfortunately failed and closed their operation in Africa in different countries. And when I dig out among five, the three Islamic financial institutions shut down due to the copy-paste approach because they started the product, but that product was not according to their local market. After 3 4 years, that would be the fate. And then say, oh, Islamic banking is very difficult. No, no, no. Islamic banking is not difficult. Their approach is wrong. If they will go with the right approach, with the right product, according to the expectation of the market, you will get a very good financial result, and you will also find a very good impact of those products in the economic life of your prospect clients.
Thank you, Mr. Zubair. So if I get your point clearly, you said Africa needs to come up with a product design for Islamic finance.
True, yes.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Zubair. So one of the major concerns for the development of the Islamic banking and finance market in Africa, apart from product design, is the issue of capacity. How can this gap of skills and expertise be bridged?
For the capacity, you can utilize 3 4 approaches. Number one, build educational institute who can serve the industry in a better way. For example, in your country, you have University of Beirut, you have Zarai University near to Kaduna, and a couple of other universities. They have a very good Islamic banking program. And the rest of the African countries also learn that lesson from Nigerian market. Number two, for the short term, you have some executive programs for the conventional bankers or conventional insurance professional or financial professional to give money, and they will move towards to Islamic banking. It would be a short-term approach, but a temporary approach. When the people will come after having a proper master degrees or bachelor degrees in a specific subjects of Islamic banking and finance, then they can replace those temporarily arrangement. The third, if you want to introduce Islamic banking in a with a very good foundations, you have to introduce Islamic banking topic in your elementary or primary level educational system. For example, in the grade of 7, 8, you will put some topic of mutarba, that how Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did mutarba with Hazrat Khadija Zitaran. You put some topic of musharka, murabia, and so when those topic will be studied by the people, then they have some understanding. How many people have to go for at the college or university level? Very few. Only 3 to 4% population goes to at the university level. But if you have those topics at the primary level educational system, then you are. So these are the some recommendation that how to have a very good awareness of Islamic banking and finance among the masses, and how to generate a quality human resource. And other thing in Africa, as I mentioned that I used to be working in African market since long. In Africa, you have two extremes. Number one, you have very good banking and finance professionals who have a very good qualifications. And the second extreme, you have a very good Sharia scholars who are very well versed for the Sharia. But unfortunately, that banking and finance profession do not know what is the Sharia. And the Sharia people do not know what is the banking and finance. So we need to bridge the gap between two. So by having bridging the gap between the Sharia scholars and the banking and finance professional, you will get a very good immediate human resource who can serve the Islamic banking and finance industry in Africa in a very perfect manner.
Well done, Mr. Asubu. I totally agree with you that the teachings of Islamic banking and finance in Africa is critical. As of now, we only have 2 schools in Nigeria that teaches Islamic finance. That is the BUK Bayero University Kano. So the Islamic finance education need pragmatic approach. Thank you very much for those insights. So let's look at poverty poses the most dangerous threat to the stability of the African region. What role do you think Islamic banking and finance can play in reducing this rising index?
Yes, unfortunately, this is pity for African Muslim countries that they have a very high rate of poverty. By the way, that is not only in Africa, but all over the world. I was reading one report of an international organization. They said about 40% of the world poverty is in Muslim countries. 40%. While our total Muslim population in the world is about 22 or 23%. It means the poverty rate in the Muslim countries are much higher than to the non-Muslim countries. And one of the major reasons of that poverty is that in many Muslim countries or the Muslim majorities countries, people do not have such financial products which are according to their religious belief. Therefore, they do not utilize microfinance or banking and financial product and remain excluded from the financial access. So if we want to include them into the financial inclusion, then we have to support Islamic banking and finance. Like in Nigeria, you have a very good international organization, Afina, who is taking the funding from international organization, and they are trying to promote Islamic finance. Why they are trying to promote Islamic finance? For financial inclusion. And similarly, if you see UNDP, UNCHR, UNEP, USAID, DFID, GIZ, World Bank, and many other international organizations, they are promoting Islamic finance. They are promoting Islamic finance not for the religious reasons. They are promoting Islamic finance for the financial inclusion because they believe if Islamic banking will be promoted, then more and more people will come into the financial inclusion. So yes, Islamic finance would be a very good tool for poverty alleviation because in Islamic finance and another uniqueness in Islamic financial product is that is the asset-based product. And whenever you deal with the asset, with the poor, that asset create a very positive impact in their economic life. For example, if I approach to the conventional banking or financial institution, they will give me the hard cash. But that bank do not have any control where I have to utilize that cash. Might be I will go to Dubai for my player trip. Might be I will give that amount to another bank as an old loan, previous loan. It means that hard cash didn't create any economic impact in my life. But if you are the Islamic bank and I approach to you, you do not give me the hard cash. You will give me the asset, whatever asset required by me through Ijara, Murabe, or any other diminution musharka on any other product nature. So, for example, you give me the welding machine. What would be the impact in my economic life? That I will earn something from that asset. If I will earn something from that asset, it means my economic life will be graduating. After 2 or 3 years, I will be out of the poverty. So that is another uniqueness in Islamic financial product, that the economic impact is very good. In the last, if we see that Islam basically provide a complete graduation model for the poverty alleviation, a scientific approach for the poverty alleviation. We can categorize poverty into different categories. For example, the extreme poverty, then chronic poverty, then transient poor, non-transient poor, and then non-poor. These are the different levels of the poverty. In Islam, the people who are the extreme poor, or chronic poor, Islam give them grant-based product like sadaqah, khairat, or zakat. You will pick that person from that poverty level to the next level. In the next level, Islam give you murabia or karze hasan, keep them to the next level. When that is at the transfer poverty level, then Islam gave them salam istasna and some advanced product. And when that person will be out of the poverty, then Islam give them the micro takaful product, a shelter net product, so that that poor person do not again dip into the poverty. If there is any issue with their health or economic life, the takaful company have to support to them. So he will not again dip to the poverty. He will be remain out the poverty. So precisely, Islam gave us a very good scientific approach through Islamic finance for poverty alleviation and the social development. And I believe by having the emergence of Islamic microfinance industry in different part of the African countries, that will play a very vital role for poverty alleviation, social and economic development.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zubair. Well, considering the uncertainties in the African regional economy, what is the way forward for unlocking the growth and development of the Islamic banking and finance industry?
I think so. This is the right time for African Development Bank to include Islamic finance in the major economic development agenda as UNDP for Sustainable Development Goals. They have a proper policy. They should have proper infrastructure to promote Islamic banking and finance in Africa. In Africa, we can categorize Africa into two major markets, the Francophone and Anglophone. If you see in the West African countries or Central African country, most of the countries are the Francophone countries like Mali, Mauritania, Senegal, Chad, Cameroon. Unfortunately, yes, most of those countries who are the Francophone countries, they have a very limited exposure for Islamic finance. There might be a different reason, but one of the reason is that they do not have a very good literature in their native language, the French language, and sometimes those countries are not very much excited for Islamic finance. So I think so we have to focus to Francophone countries as well for the development of Islamic banking and finance, because most of the Francophone countries, they have a combination of the central bank like BICAO. The many Francophone countries are the member of BICAO being the central bank. And similarly, they have insurance regulatory authority. So yes, we have to focus on those countries where they have a good Muslim population but do not have Islamic banking infrastructure. Number two, we have to have such product because the products are very average in African markets as well. I was calculating that in Africa, 80% of Islamic banking financing in Africa is with only one product, which is Muraba. Even 85 to 90% financing of Islamic banking in Nigeria is only with Muraba. Why only Muraba? There are more than 100 products which belong to the Islamic banking. You should have different products as well.
Yes, from what you said, we need more product design. For agriculture. Yes.
So the product type diversification is required as well. You should have the new product as well. You should have the innovative product as well. So I do not think so. With only 80% Murabia based financing, you can see that Islamic banking will play a very good role in African country. It will be difficult. We should have some cash based product for Islamic finance. We should have innovative product for the takaful. Your takaful product is very average. Even for the sukuk structure in Africa, again, 95% sukuk is only on ijara basis. 95% sukuk which have been issued in Africa, that is on ijara basis. So we should think that what product we have to require so that we address the need of our prospect customer in the better way.
All right, Islamic finance or non-interest finance system is not only simply just an interest-free system, but it offers much more, such as the promotion of entrepreneurship, the safeguarding of property rights, transparent transactions, and the honoring of contractual obligations. Thank you very much for providing insights on the challenges and opportunities in Islamic banking and finance in Africa. And that was Mr. Zubair Mughal, CEO, AlHuda, Center of Islamic Banking and Finance. Do have a great day and enjoy your weekend. It's Friday.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The need for increased awareness around Islamic banking and finance products, a wide branch network, digital banking, government support, and enabling a regulatory environment, and the availability of Islamic finance liquidity management instruments will go a long way in spurring the growth of non-interest finance in Africa. And that will be all for this edition. For more updates on Islamic finance, visit www.prosherng.com. Also, follow us on our social media platform displaying on the screen. Thanks for watching.